Thank you, President Wang, and thank you, President Lin. Thank you for inviting me to this very important gathering of the CCG. Much has been said at this juncture, and it's really very difficult to add. The topic you've chosen is topical in the current international scenario, and I will try to be brief and focus on three main points. First, I would say that the slump induced by the pandemic has been short-lived in terms of GDP contraction. At the same time, some of its effects will be long-lasting. In 2020, the economic collapse of the global level has been the largest since the Second World War, but the recovery has been relatively quick. After 2 years, trade and foreign direct investment flows have regained the lost ground and hover now above pre-pandemic levels. At the same time, the effects have been very different across sectors. Trade of pharmaceutical products, domestic appliances, and electronics have boomed. Tourism has nosedived. Some of these trends will be short-lived, others will be durable, as the digitalization push induced by the pandemic will redefine for a long time to come the demand of goods and services that are traded internationally. The pandemic has also affected considerably FDIs. Globally, they have surpassed the 2019 levels. However, they are different. In 2021, greenfield FDIs, which is where an apparent company builds a subsidiary in another country, well, greenfield FDI projects are still 22% lower than 2 years ago. This is due to the impact of the reduction of mobility across continents that has affected the powerful engine of economic integration and prosperity across the world. It is even greater in China, where international mobility is severely constrained. These considerations are strictly connected to the second point I wanted to raise, the increasing trends towards deglobalization. The effects of the pandemic have been dramatically compounded by the economic repercussions on the war of Ukraine. As the global supply chains have proved to be highly vulnerable, calls for enhancing resilience through reshoring have increased. These have been further amplified by the lockdowns in Shanghai that has brought about ramifications well beyond China's economy. Reshoring has not considerably materialized yet. At the same time, increases of inventories by companies around the world and diversification of supplies are taking place. Overhauling the model of globalization we have experienced over the last 2 decades is aimed at enhancing security. It will also come with costs that we should take into consideration and be prepared to bear. And here I come to my third point, my last point, the Chinese perspective. China has greatly benefited from globalization and open markets. Trade and FDIs have been extraordinary tools of economic and social development, and so they are still today. In line with the global trends, trade and FDI flows in China have regained steam, and the Chinese economy has rebounded. At the same time, nonetheless, we have to consider the long-term view as well. In this perspective, easing the international travel rules is fundamental to restore pre-pandemic flows of political visits, business exchanges, and students. As my Swiss colleague rightfully pointed out earlier, it is key to attracting and retaining talents, to keep competitiveness and enjoy the tremendous benefits of foreign know-how inside your country. We have really appreciated the commitment of the Chinese authorities to increase the number of international flights over the last week. You mentioned the Prime Minister's personal intervention. Of course, more needs to be done along the same line. Keeping the borders closed for too long could lead China to isolation and bring about long-term social and economic costs that could be entirely avoided if action is taken promptly and in a heavier way. I think we have to put behind us the times of when we used to burn fleets and look beyond and keep integration going, or we will kill globalization. And as far as China is concerned, you will kill the hen with the gold, the goose with the golden eggs. Thank you.